The following is a presentation of Learfield IMG College.
This is Duck Insider.
Give it to Verdell. He's got the first down and go! Duck fans start celebrating. Oregon is the 2019 Pac-12 champion. The 2020 Rose Bowl champion.
Richardson, another open three. Good! Duarte dribbles and slams with the right hand. For the third time in the last 5 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
Foley three. Goal! Foley ball! Out Shelley. Three ball. Goal! Regular season champions and now Pac-12 tournament champions.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you, and a happy Monday to everybody joining us after a warm weekend in the Eugene-Springfield area and really all throughout the Willamette Valley. Hope that you all enjoyed a little bit of sunshine. It's been a warm day today. We're going to talk a little bit about that because, well, we still don't have a lot of football and live sports to prepare you for. I say that sort of tongue-in-cheek. We are going to talk to Graeme Abel, though, and I'm really looking forward to this interview, everybody. I get the feeling that a lot of you have heard Coach Abel a little bit, but you probably haven't heard him as much as really he deserves, and that's, I think, an understatement. Graeme Abel is a very, very good interview. He is a broadcaster's dream in terms of a good interview. Self-depreciating sense of humor. Humble, hilarious, and always good for a quick remark and a zinger that you don't necessarily prepare for. Good interview. So Graeme Abel is going to join us coming up about 10 minutes or so on the show because, well, the postponement of the Pac-12 season until the end of the calendar year means for Oregon soccer, first-year head coach, things a little bit up in the air in terms of what does the fall look like. We're going to talk to him about that and his reaction to the news. And now what the heck does a first-year head coach do after he just got settled in Eugene and then all this happens? We're going to talk to Graeme Abel about that coming up in just a little while. So what do you guys want to know from Coach Abel? Those of you watching live with us, listening live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, I'm on Twitter at JoeyMacUO. The Oregon Sports Network is on Twitter at UO Sports Network. You might be watching there on Twitter or on the Go Ducks Facebook or the Go Ducks YouTube page. You know, what do you guys want to know? And this comes especially as there is a lot of unrest still around college football. We're going to talk about that. I want to unpack it a little bit and some of, frankly, the controversial topics that are going around college football right now. We are going to get into that a bit, including a tweet that really lit the college football world on fire a little bit. We'll talk about that from one SEC athletic director. CJ Verdell's birthday was yesterday. More on that. Some products updates, and also a tremendous performance from one product actually on the LPGA. I want to get into that. And it is another great day to celebrate. Yeah, just wait for it, everybody. If you need a little pick-me-up, just stick around with us through the show today. We have prepared a slideshow of epic proportions in celebration of one of our own. I think this might become a tradition on Duck Insider now, actually. We didn't intend for that when we celebrated our coworker Matt Stern's birthday a few days ago. But I think it's now a tradition. It's happening. Because we all need a pick-me-up right now. I think that – does everybody agree with that? Yeah, we all need that pick-me-up right now. Well, it is Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union inside the Country Financial Studio. Scott Phillips is here. John Essick is back in the radio studio as usual, and it's kind of weird. So I was thinking about this over the weekend. You know, it's normally this time of year over the weekend there probably would have been a football practice scrimmage actually on Saturday. We at least are getting closer and closer to when that would become a reality. We'd probably be breaking down an updated organizational chart today. And I don't mean to throw salt on the wound here, but I was just thinking about that when it was 100 degrees and I was sitting in my backyard with my wife. And I thought, that was the first time that it really hit me, I think. Because Monday happens. You feel the rumblings. You feel it all coming. Tuesday happens, and it's just a dark day. I mean, everybody who heard the show on Tuesday knows that I just was like, oh, man, Like I felt like it was a ton of bricks. I mean, I think everybody felt that way. You know, my heart goes out to the student athletes, coaches, everybody involved. I mean, there's so many people that you can think about. So then Wednesday is sort of like I felt like we were in like mop-up duty. You know, it's kind of like, okay, make sure we got everything, make sure we get to everything, comments from everybody who's decision makers, and then Thursday we do the same thing. We hear from Mario Cristobal, we hear from Rob Mullins. Friday we do the same thing. We hear from Matt Ulmer, and now we're going to hear from Graeme Abel today. And it's funny, we're about a week out from when I think everybody kind of knew what was coming, right? The postponement of the football season, the cross-country season, the volleyball season, the soccer season. We're going to talk to Robert Johnson hopefully this week as well. We're aiming for Wednesday for Robert Johnson. Might be able to connect with Mario Cristobal this week on the show as well if his schedule allows. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that a lot of you would probably like to hear from those coaches, give a little closure to things. But in all seriousness, and I don't mean to open the show on this like downer tone today. I promise we're going to turn this around. But I think it's important to note. I was sitting there on Saturday, and that was really the first time that it hit me. That normally I'd be worried about putting on the right amount of sunscreen, grabbing my hat, and trying not to melt on the practice fields on a Saturday. And instead, I'm sitting in the backyard, might have been a beverage in hand or two, and that's when it really hit me of like, wow, now what? And I think we've all maybe come to that a little bit, but for me it was very personal because we have this show to do. We still want to provide a connection to fans for the entire athletic department, and we're going to do that. We've got some different programming that I don't want to get into details yet because we're still working out the details, to be honest with you. But we've got a lot still to talk about. And that was really the first day that it hit me and it kind of sunk in. And that's maybe going to be one of the themes of the show today. There is a little bit of unrest around college sports, and I see that Coach Graeme Abel has connected. We're going to talk with the Oregon soccer head coach here in just a little bit, so stick with us. But the Big Ten players, we've probably all seen those reports about Big Ten wanting to play and what things are going to look like. I've heard more interviews with medical experts around the college football world in the last week, I think, that I had ever heard combined previously, which I think is a good thing. And there's still just so much unrest around college sports, and yet for the Pac-12, they've been so, in some ways, out in front of this that today is the first day I think that we actually can offer some clarity on everything for sure, which is a positive. And I applaud the Pac-12 and all the institutions and the members of the Pac-12 for doing so, because when President Schill brought up the mental health aspect of all this and how we can't just keep moving forward and wondering, and there's such a strain there. At first, I was like, yeah, I understand that. But then on Saturday, I was like, yeah, I understand that. I think you all kind of know what I'm getting at and the way that it affects you. It was a moment of clarity in some ways. All right, I don't want to dwell on that. We got some Products news. Graeme Abel is here with us. Virtually here with us anyway. He's got the duck behind him, though. That looks pretty good. We're going to talk about that coming up. So before we take a break, Coach, so the way that this has been working is we have to come up with some way to handshake like through the screen here. So can we like fist bump through the screen? That works. Okay, this is good.
Virtually. There we go.
That's good. Thank you, Coach. Hey, before we get into really the meat and potatoes, heck of a first year for you, huh? How could you have ever penciled this into your career?
I'm still unbeaten, so it's incredible. I'm gonna claim that as long as I can.
So you'll be the first unbeaten first-year head coach like ever around the college landscape, right? I mean, you're gonna stay unbeaten in 2020.
Potentially, just keep rolling.
I'll take it as long as you can. Graeme Abel, head coach, Oregon Soccer, is our guest. Coach, I got a lot to get into with you, and I'm hoping that we can kind of really go deep dive. Let's begin just healthy, safe, your family, especially after just getting settled into Eugene. I mean, man, I can't even imagine what's that been like. Can you just take us through from day one on the job until now, and just what this has been like for you? I mean, what a roller coaster! I can only imagine.
Yeah, we made a great start. I mean, our kids were awesome in the winter phase, and we kind of switched into our developmental phase. We made a ton of strides. The kids were in a really good place, and then this whole COVID-19 thing hits us. So it's been crazy, but we've adjusted. Athletic department, as you know, has been incredible. Just in terms of keeping us informed, continuing to give us resources when you see so much chaos around the rest of the country.
Yeah.
I think the leadership with Rob and Lisa has been incredibly steady and incredibly, informative for us. So as much chaos as it's been as a head coach and as a staff, and what's been out there with the rest of the world, we've been able to keep it fairly steady, and I think that's really helped our kids, to be quite honest with you.
Coach, can we unpack that a little bit? I mean, you've been around USA Soccer, as we've talked about with your career, and you've been around other college programs. I mean, I think that really says something that you feel that way with the leadership here at the U of O, and you heard me talking a little bit about with the Pac-12. I mean, how do you quantify that and sort of that effort to keep everything safe and as maybe with as much sanity as possible, right?
Yeah, I think the more information you're given, the more planning that there is. Planning and preparation is everything for us. That's why I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at the silver lining out of this, going, okay, we've got more time to plan and prep and do this and that. So there's a silver lining in it for me anyway. But in terms of how do you quantify it? I don't know if you can necessarily quantify. You just know it, you understand it, you appreciate the briefings when information happens, and news release comes out. We've got a head coach's call that afternoon, and Rob's very transparent with us and gives us the information so we can react, we can communicate to our kids, and always give them the most up-to-date information before it's getting thrown out there on social media. And our kids are on it 24/7, so they see it, and so being able to get to them prior, I think, really does help put them at ease.
What was the conversation like with your team, Coach? And I mean, just what was the reaction when the news came out?
Yeah, I was, I'll be honest, I was pretty matter of fact them in terms of, hey, listen, this has happened. It's, take 24 hours. We'll talk again, the next couple of days. And then once we had that follow-up call, again, I keep saying it, but I praise the department because, there was no, hey, you've got to send your kids home. Our kids were here. They were like, hey, go on as normal. So we were able to offer our kids, one or two options. They could opt in and stay here in Eugene, or they could opt out if they felt as though they needed to go home for a multitude of reasons. And they offered us that. So we were able to look at it and go, okay, it's happened. It's not great. We wanted to play this season, but hey, our number one priority is keeping you guys safe and healthy. We've got an unbelievable environment here in Eugene, so let's take advantage of it. If you want to take advantage of it, you can opt in, and let's train and let's now prepare for the future. So that's what it's all about. So try to keep it as positive as possible. We're lucky. We've got all of this around us.
Yeah.
We've got this guy over here being around me and stuff. So we've got all this around us, so let's take advantage of it. So got to stay positive.
I like that. One, I've been I don't know if accused is the right word. Scott might be able to help me out here, but maybe overly optimistic. I was trying to just will things into existence with my positivity over the last few weeks, and well, we'll see what happens, I guess, in the coming days. So what does it look like now, Coach? I mean, what are you guys able to do? How much training can you do? What does it look like now for your athletes and for your staff in the next few weeks, few months?
Yeah, so the NCAA allowed us to go into a kind of a 20-hour block per week. So similar 20-hour block that we would have within a regular season. So we've pretty much said, okay, what things can we do with our group now in terms of habit forming for the future, in terms of our philosophy, what we want to do medically, what we want to do from a performance side, what we want to do as a team, what we want to do on the field, off the field, so all those different pieces. And we have an incredible team around our kids. So we just got all those guys working and, using, again, all our resources and facilities and, trying to make it as normal as we can without the games. So it's an incredible opportunity to make our kids better. And I think that was a commitment we made when I took the position here with our staff, and we have to make our kids better every single day on and off the field. So,
going back in time, if we could a little bit, just for a second, Coach, how much did not having the spring impact you guys too? I mean, because I think I was thinking about that. Like normally in the spring, we'd be talking with you about spring schedule, what you saw in development. We didn't even get to do that this last spring.
Yeah.
So how much did that kind of set things back, I suppose?
It did. When I saw the strides that our kids made, like I said, in those first 2 months, I mean, we had kids who were, no pun intended with us being ducks, but they were flying. You know what I mean? They were doing really well. They bought in, and then all of a sudden, like I said, the roadblock came, and so we pivoted with that and said, okay, what information do we need to continue to get to our group? What plans do we need to put together for them? That hey, there's a season potentially going to happen here in August, and we've got to make sure we get back on campus. We're in the best shape possible from a physical standpoint, mental standpoint. And that was a little bit of the scary thing coming back. Okay, if we do come back and we've only got them for X amount of weeks, they've not done anything structured for a while. Is it an injury? There are injury concerns and things like that. So again, I think there's the COVID-19 piece, and then there's the kids that's been out for so long that it was the right thing to do in the end in terms of, pushing things back.
Graeme Abel, head coach, Oregon Soccer, is our guest. Coach, I think one, pun intended. Come on now, right? Pun intended. I mean, your guys are flying. You got to give me something when I can get it, Coach. I need a laugh. I need something here.
They were flying. They were definitely flying.
I'll take it. All right. Well, do you mind if we fly through a break real quick and we get you back after this? All right. Graeme Abel is our guest. I don't want to get too far behind on the show, and I still got a lot to talk about here coming up. So stick with us. More Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're back inside the Country Financial Studio next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Learfield IMG College.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns.
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you inside the Country Financial Studio. Joining us all the way from beautiful Pape Field is Graeme Abel, head coach, Oregon Soccer. We were just talking during the break, and Coach, I mean, you got a heck of a backdrop there in the team meeting room. You got the duck behind you. I mean, it looks pretty great, Coach, I got to tell you.
It's a nice facility. I'm not going to complain. I'll give you guys a tour, but it might be might be a little messy right now. So, but
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, we've been kind of unpacking everything and now what the future looks like for really every program around Oregon and zeroing in on Oregon soccer today. You know, Coach, I did want to ask you a little bit about recruiting, because the recruiting trail sure looked like it was going well for you guys in the spring through the summer. I guess, can we just talk a little bit in general about recruiting and just how things have been developing for you guys? And then part two of that question is how all this has really changed the way that you guys go about recruiting. I imagine it's very different in this era, isn't it?
It is, and to be honest with you, again, there's positives that have come out of it. You know, for the longest time when I was with the women's national team, we spent so much time watching video, which we typically didn't within women's college soccer with recruiting. We'd go watch the kids live, and then you would never really watch much video. So the moment all this hit and the dead period hit, it was like, okay, how many games can we get on these kids? So we would end up watching 5-6 games on one recruit. Rewind, watch it again, rewind, watch it again, was something we typically never did. So now that has come in, that is something that we've added that will not go away. The other beauty about it is we get to spend so much time talking to these kids, you know, with now Zoom being kind of just part of life, you know, we spend a lot of time talking with the kids in terms of making sure we have the right characters. And that's been the biggest thing. We've got talent here for sure. It's now making sure that we continue to recruit the right characters that understand what all this is about and are willing to appreciate this, are willing to take advantage of, you know, what they have here, both on the athletic side, but also on the academic side. I mean, our academic culture is phenomenal. I mean, we crushed the spring quarter. I mean, I think it was a 3.75 GPA, 9 kids on the dean's list, 5 kids with a 4.0. I mean, from a performance side academically, it was mind blowing, especially the adversity that our kids have to deal with doing classes remotely and things like that. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of positives to come away from it. And then when we get back to, you know, normal, we've got to continue with the things that we learned from this period and continue that recruiting cycle.
It is definitely, I feel like, going to be a new normal. You know, some of the things that we've adopted in the last 8 months are probably going to stick around for a while. I imagine that video conferencing, remote working, probably going to be a couple of them. Yeah, I'm kind of curious, Coach. You talk about how you're talking so much with recruits. What are the biggest questions that they're asking you guys right now? I mean, what's coming up on these calls maybe more often than not?
When can we come visit?
Yeah.
I mean, you show pictures of everything we've got here. You show pictures of the outdoors. You show pictures of the coast an hour away. You've got all these things about Eugene, the hiking, the lakes. You know, you've got all these pieces. You show the kids, and you're like, "Hey, this place is unbelievable, but you got to come here." And they're like, "Hey, when are you playing?" I'm not too sure. So we're working on getting them in town. The tough thing is we can't really have any contact with them when they're on. We can't have any contact with them when they're on campus.
Right.
So that's tough because, I mean, what a place to come to, what a time of the year to come here, but we can't have any contact with them. So that's tough right now, but they want to experience Eugene. So we know we get them in town. They see everything we've got here, you know, they meet our people, then, you know, we're confident they want to become Ducks.
With your staff, Coach, and Graeme Abel joining us, head coach Oregon Soccer, you guys had really just settled in. I mean, what's it been like meshing with your staff and having the student athletes mesh with your staff in sort of the remote world? Because I feel like you guys are going to end up being a great case study of, like, you can implement a new staff remotely and things work well, right?
Yeah, I was lucky because I worked with Manny for 8-9 years with the U.S. Youth National Team. So I've known Manny for a long time. I recruited Rachel when we were at Washington State. So I recruited her way back and kept in contact with her. So that piece was pretty easy, to be quite honest with you. You know, in terms of settling into Eugene, my wife obviously worked here, so she knew all about Eugene. So she took care of that piece for me in terms of educating me about different things and, you know, constantly talking to Lisa Peterson. So we dealt with that pretty well, talked together, you know, virtually every day on Zoom. So we dealt with it really well. So I'm proud of our staff. We did a good job of that.
What surprised you about this area and this community in Eugene the most over the last few months?
You know, I'll have to go back to the athletic department again. I've said this a number of times, and I genuinely mean it, because I've worked at a number of different athletic departments and big universities, mid-majors, things like that. And it's just such a the family thing is thrown out so much. It's one of the, I think it's one of the biggest cliches in athletics, to be quite honest with you. But it's such a down to earth environment here at Oregon in terms of dealing with people, talking to people, being able to pick up the phone and have that conversation. That thing has been really, 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 surprising. I expected a corporate feel here, and it's not at all. You've obviously got all the facilities and everything around us, but there's a really, really down to earth base. And then in terms of Eugene and Oregon, I underestimated the outdoors feel to it and everything that we have around us, getting out to the coast, getting out to the mountains. I mean, what a place to live, and I mean, what a place to want to go to school.
Got a lot going for it. That's
incredible.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's an easy sell. Get them in Eugene, they're sold. Yeah.
So here's to being able to do that sooner than later, right?
Sooner rather than later, yeah. Sooner rather than later.
That'd be good. Graeme Abel, head coach, Oregon Soccer, is our guest. I guess as we look ahead, we've done this a little bit, Coach. Focuses in the fall for your group. I imagine academics probably comes to mind with a season that's postponed. Got to take care of business in the classroom, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, our kids lead the way that way. I mean, it's culturally fantastic. They really hit it out the park. So we'll continue to push that piece. Their bar's pretty high, but we continue to raise the bar in everything that we do. And so continuing to physically prepare our kids just in terms of what we want to do and how we want to play. It's going to be, we have to be fit. We have to be able to run. It's as simple as that. And then just start to build upon our philosophy on and off the field, continue to do that piece, continue to build the relationship. So like I said at the start, you can look at this one or two ways. We're not playing. We know that now, but now we've got to move forward and we've got to do it the very best way possible. We got to do it better than anyone else in the country. And if we can do that, then we know we'll have our success.
What challenges remain for you as a coach now, for your entire team? I mean, and maybe not just in the immediate future, but now in the long run. We talk about the eligibility questions with the NCAA and extending the clock from the regular 5-year period to play 4 years. I mean, what sort of challenges are ahead? And I know that's kind of a very open-ended, maybe a long-winded question, but what are those challenges that come to mind for you?
I certainly think, again, in terms of managing our roster, in terms of that piece, the nice thing is recruiting is not as strung out as it was where we used to recruit 5 classes at once. So we're able to manage that a little easier. We've started to have those conversations with some of our kids in terms of, do you want to go, with our seniors, do you want to turn pro? Do you want to stick around for another year and play? Our juniors are in that same boat as well. So start to have those conversations. I think over the next, 6 months, it's hard to train without really having any games. Yeah. So how do we manage that piece and create an environment depending on what phase we're in, and how we move forward with the COVID-19 piece. So depending on what phase we're able to get in and what we're actually able to do with our kids. So they're I think they're the biggest challenges that we have. Everything else we don't look at as a challenge. In all honesty, we look at it as an opportunity, to continue to build this thing, continue to mold this thing. And, we're chasing a lot of programs here at Oregon ourselves. We've got so much success all around us that we're chasing those programs to play catch up. So
you like that, though, as a coach, don't you?
Love it.
Yeah.
But listen, there's one thing when you come in at a university and everyone else is, mediocre, then you're going, well, you know what? Can we really get there? And but then everyone else is just running around. I mean, what Coach Graves has done, what Cristobal's done, Coach Altman, what they're all doing, all of our other programs are just, they're just flying all over the country, winning games, competitive, recruiting the right way. So it can be done here. And so we're just trying to follow in their footsteps.
I tell you what, whenever I'm losing my positivity and optimism, I think we know who to call now. Taking advantage of the opportunity. I like that approach. I think it's going to work. We're going to will it into existence again. I'm going to do my best to follow Coach Abel here.
We will be good here. I can promise you that. We will get there. It's going to take maybe one extra year now, but we will be there.
I like it. Graeme Abel, head coach, Oregon Soccer. Well, Coach, I could keep you on for the entire show, but I've already kept you longer than I said I would, so I appreciate you taking the time. And, hey, we'll do it again sometime, all right? You stay safe, and hopefully we'll be able to bump into each other in the hallway again soon.
Definitely. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, Graeme Abel, head coach, Oregon Soccer. That's great stuff. That was really, really great stuff. We're going to get a quick timeout, come back, unpack some of that, and talk a little bit more about some Product news because there was a chip-in eagle for a Product on the LPGA Tour this weekend. We'll talk about that. Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Back inside the Country Financial Studio, next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar presents an original that's now maybe even better. Humpty Dumpty.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a delicious Mountain Dew Zero Sugar with the same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. And all the king's horses, all the king's men couldn't get Humpty to try a different zero sugar soda again.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. As good as the original, maybe even better.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
It's important to buckle up your kids.
I know.
Sometimes car seats can be complicated.
I know.
And if your child's in the wrong seat and you get into a crash,
I know.
It could lead to a serious injury.
I know.
So you're 100% sure you have the right car seat for your child's age and size?
I don't know.
Don't think you know. Know you know. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Make sure you have the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union, live from the Country Financial Studio. And today's show is brought to you by Jackson's Food Stores, proud sponsor of the University of Oregon Ducks. Stop by your neighborhood Jackson's for all your essentials, everyday specials on game day necessities. You'll have everything that you need. And go Ducks. Thanks to Jackson's for their support. I thought that was great from Coach Abel. He and I got to know each other a little bit when he first started because his office is right across from the studio. And so I've talked with Coach Abel, as you can imagine, a few times, and it's been really funky walking in, and me and Scott, like, this entire hallway is just closed doors of coaches' offices, and it's really weird. Like, I thought that I'd get used to it after. I mean, we've been back in here for what, Scott? 3 weeks now? Really?
3 weeks.
I haven't gotten used to it.
It's kind of eerie.
I don't know that I will get used to it.
No. But it's nice when his door's open. You can see him, say hi.
Yeah, but it's still weird.
It is weird.
Because you don't see him often. Nope. We don't really see anybody over here. It's only when he's coming over here to grab something before practice or something like that. Or not practice. I need to get my verbiage right. I'm still out of practice. And when the Ducks are doing those 20-hour workouts, that's how long they've got, right? And it was nice. We were just talking with Coach Abel after we finished up too, and he said, "Hey, a lot of our student athletes are here. If you want to have them on," and I said that'd be great. I think, and fans, I guess I ask you, I think it'd be interesting to hear what a student athlete thinks of all this. And frankly, how has the day of a student athlete changed? Because it has changed significantly. And nobody saw it coming. I don't think any of us thought in December of last year. Maybe that's unfair. Let's say this time last year. None of us could have predicted this. No one could have. And I really do applaud the athletic department for, at least here at Oregon, and that's really all I can speak to, for the measures that they've taken. And look, and I don't think that this is just blowing smoke, if you will. Coach Abel has worked in a lot of high-level organizations and high-level universities, and that's the first thing that he thinks of when I ask him about these things. He applauds the way that it's been handled here, and I think that Duck fans, you should be proud of that. I did see a question on YouTube while we were talking with Coach Abel from Michael. Any news on season ticket holders and how the ticket process is going to work? So I think this will become a daily thing for a while, that we'll kind of outline the way that things are working. So essentially, you've got a multitude of options if you are a season ticket holder. And many of you have probably seen the email by now that was sent to season ticket holders. If you have not, then I can outline it for you a little bit. And even if you have seen it and you maybe haven't heard from your Duck Athletic Fund or ticket office representative yet, there's a few options. One, you could just credit, and no action necessary if that's the case. Then all of your previously paid 2020 football season tickets will roll over to 2021. And similar for other sports, right? You could also choose to reinvest it. If you reinvest it, then that means that you're going to get essentially a bonus toward your own tax refund. Because if you reinvest it and it becomes just a donation to the University of Oregon Athletic Department, then it's converted to a 100% tax deductible donation. And remember, and this is actually, important, I think, on a few levels, but maybe the most is, remember, there was new legislation with that new tax law that said season ticket purchases could not be tax deductible anymore, right? That all changed for season ticket holders. So now you can take those funds that were purchased for the ticket themselves, and similar to 3, 4, 5 years ago, it can be a 100% tax deductible donation. So that's the reinvest option. And then, of course, you can request a refund. Look, we get it. This sucks. We get it. So, yeah, you can request a refund. Now, are there going to be some benefits for those who stick around? Yes, in terms of the point system that, as Rob Mullins put it, is constantly changing. And for those of you who aren't season ticket holders, I'm getting into the weeds a little bit here. It's kind of the inside baseball, if you will. But essentially, though, the biggest, maybe most important thing is, look, if you request a refund, you're still going to maintain your renewal right for the following year. We get it. This has changed everything. It's not just Oregon. We understand that people have lost jobs, lost lives. Maybe I should have led with that. We understand. And Duck Athletic Fund, the ticket office, they're actively working to get to everybody. So please, just some patience. There's a lot of people to talk to, as you can imagine, a lot of questions to be answered. And I think that on the show, I've tried to answer some of those general, specific questions. And maybe this week, we'll talk with someone from the ticket office and Duck Athletic Fund to really drill down into it. I think that we might be able to do that here coming up. Pivoting a little bit here. So I thought that this was a great tweet from Greg Byrne, and I want to read it to you. And remember, Greg Byrne's the Alabama athletic director. And he says, "Who wants college sports this fall?" A lot of emojis. He says, "Obviously not these people." Hand on face emoji. "We've got to do better than this for each other and our campus community. Please wear your masks." And for those of you who haven't seen the tweet, at Greg_Byrne, essentially a group of mostly younger-looking people outside, but no one you can see wearing a mask. And look, I get it. Every community is different, but I thought that this really said a lot from Greg Byrne over the weekend. And I'm glad that it got as much attention as it did in the media and from fans. Makes a difference. Look, the people a lot smarter than me are saying that it makes a difference to control the virus. In fact, it makes a huge difference to control the virus. And we'll see what happens in the SEC, Big 12, ACC. They're going to try and play college football this year. Man, I just hope everything goes all right. I hope that for everybody. I really do. I really, really do. Another pivot to something positive. CJ Verdell's birthday was yesterday, and I thought it was awesome that Coach Jim Mastro tweeted out a congratulatory happy birthday to the Pac-12 championship game MVP. I love that it was Coach Mastro, because Coach Mastro, for those of you who have heard the interviews with him and we've had the pleasure of talking to him on the signing day shows, on the coaches shows, and Coach Mastro has a very, very dry sense of humor, and he's very quick-witted. Honestly, he's a little like CJ in that regard, and I loved that it was Coach Mastro that alerted everybody that it was CJ Verdell's birthday, who, CJ Verdell is not the most social media present guy, so I loved it from Coach Mastro. So a happy belated birthday to CJ Verdell. Also of note, have you guys seen those all of the images on Twitter of like the semi-cartoony caricatures of all of the Oregon athletes? It's been awesome to see that. I think those have looked really awesome. And sometimes Coach Cristobal will go on a retweet frenzy, and you just see all of them, and tip of the cap to who's making those. A huge tip of the cap. In some products news, Brady Aiello got waived, so I hope that he lands on his feet. The former swimming champion, by the way, Brady Aiello, one of our best interviews on the Coaches Show last year and the Pepsi Player Spotlight. Brady Aiello, his mom, awesome. She helped out the show tremendously by sending in some pictures of Brady when he was a high school swimming champion, now turned offensive lineman with a chance in the NFL. Awesome story. And I hope that Brady Aiello finds a good spot to play. Tony Brooks-James, though, going to the Vikings. So congratulations to Tony Brooks-James. And Ruthie Hebard got her first start on Sunday, and I love this tweet from Rob Mosley. He's on Twitter at Godux Mosley, the editor-in-chief, Godux.com, friend of the program, as they say. Rob tweeted out that, hey, in Ruthie Hebard's starts in the WNBA, the Sky have an average margin of victory of 25 points. Now, look, it's a small sample size because it was Ruthie's first career start over the weekend, but the Sky won by 25, and I say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So congratulations to Ruthie Hebard. Now, Satu Sabali is out with a little bit of a back injury right now, so only one of those big three, if you will, pro Ducks are in action. So wishing the best of recoveries to Satu Sabali and Sabrina Ionescu. Scott Phillips turned his mic on. It was like he had something to say.
Oh, I was just, Ruthie, up by 25, right?
Yeah.
For her whole season so far.
Yeah.
Graeme is undefeated.
That's right. Graeme Abel's undefeated. Silver linings.
Got some good stuff going.
Silver linings. Yeah, it was really funny when Coach Abel said that, hey, he's going to be undefeated. He'll take it. You can be undefeated if you don't play any games. Is that true? Because then you were never actually defeated, but you never competed.
Yeah, technicalities.
Okay. We're getting too much into the weeds. I saw Tobiah mention this in the comments, and he echoes exactly how I feel. Hard rooting against Dylan Brooks on Saturday, but hashtag go Blazers. Hey, look, Grizzlies didn't play great. Dylan would be the first to say that they didn't take care of business in the bubble. But good for the Blazers, right? Look, for a Duck guy like myself, that's a great story because it gives something for the state of Oregon to rally behind, just like when the Timbers won the MLS's back tournament. Good for the Blazers. And I know that the odds makers are still saying that a team from Los Angeles is probably going to win the championship. Lakers, Clippers, whatever. Maybe it's going to be the Bucks. Who knows? But tell you what, if I'm the Lakers, I don't want to play the Blazers right now. I want nothing to do with the Portland Trail Blazers. Nothing. Not a thing. Because they seem like the team that's playing with nothing to lose and their hair's on fire, and Damian Lillard could win a game by himself. Now, can LeBron do that and can Anthony Davis do that? Sure, but Nurk makes all the difference. Tell you what, Blazer fans, I'm right there with you. I think that the Blazers have a real shot. NBA playoffs starting today, so we do the show live from 1 to 2. For those of you who tune in a little later, having matinee basketball on in the studio is awesome. It felt a little bit, dare I say, a little bit like March Madness. When you have these like early games and then it's just a marathon of playoff basketball all day, it felt a little bit like March Madness. Right when I thought I had just moved past it and we were going to... Nope. Then I get reminded of the season that should have been a national championship for the Oregon women.
Joey.
I'm sorry. I was really far. I'm sorry, Scott. I did it. Boy. Okay, I want to tell you about Caroline Inglis and the eagle that she had on the LPGA Tour. This was awesome. So we've got the clip, courtesy of the Golf Channel, and it's a great chip-in for eagle for Caroline Inglis, who was competing in the Scottish Open. She ended up tied for 39th, shot 5 over. Nice near $7,000 payday. So, Scott, go ahead and roll it. I mean,
links test that is here at the Renaissance Golf Club for week 3 on the LPGA Tour. First week back for those on the Ladies European Tour. Inglis. Hello.
Hello, Scott.
Indeed.
Hello, Joe.
Hello.
Hello.
What a shot, though,
Yeah.
from Caroline. Can we see it again? You don't need the hello this time. But for those of you who are watching the show, and if you haven't seen it, just a great chip from the Pro Duck.
For week 3 on the
Her
LPGA
third
Tour.
shot
For those
and just
Ladies European Tour.
dunks it. What a shot. Congratulations to Caroline Inglis. And I understand that she's going to be playing next weekend, too. After the Scottish Open was this past weekend, she tied for 39th. Nice payday for her, and congratulations to a Pro Duck on that eagle. That I couldn't do that if I tried a million times. But as we've established, terrible golfer, will never be a good golfer. I've given up. I was a baseball player. I have a baseball swing. It's never going to change. Casey Martin, Derek Radley, fix me, please. Also, we got our Cafe Yum 2-minute drill coming up in just a moment, and we're going to have a celebration here too. And just getting back to a normal life has been odd. I got to tell a personal story here in a minute. I went to the dentist today, and I know Scott has been to the dentist recently as well. So
yeah, last week.
I want to share stories, and I actually want to hear if anybody else has had a similar experience to me. So stick with us. We're going to have a little fun. It's Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're live from the Country Financial Studio. Coming back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Welcome back for another episode of ASMR with Alex. Today, we're exploring the delicious, refreshing sounds of Pepsi. Oh, spilled a little there, but don't worry, it's all under control. Now for the best part. Pepsi. That's what I like. Nailed it. My subscriber is gonna love this one.
Locally owned Bigfoot Beverages is proud to support the Oregon Ducks. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics. This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Listen and imagine. It takes 5 seconds to send a text, and for those 5 seconds, you're driving blind. Life is worth more than a text. Stay alive. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Everybody buckle up. Mom. Buckle up.
Let's go.
Buckle up.
Can we go to the store? Mom, can we get some ice cream?
Everybody, buckle up.
A lot goes on in the car, but you're in control. So only move when you hear the click that says they're buckled in. Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. By the way, Graeme Abel today, brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with cancer care you can count on. I see the news now. University of North Carolina has shut down in-person classes due to a rise in COVID-19 cases. Yeah, I think that we're going to see some schools dealing with that, and I don't know, guys. It's an uphill battle, to say the least. I wish everybody the best, and I hope that everything works out well for everybody. Hey, it's time for the 2-minute drill brought to you by Cafe Yum. I wanted to spend the 2-minute drill today talking a little bit about the sports schedule that is ahead a bit, but also as it pertains to what Coach Abel said. If you're just joining us, kind of rapid fire on what Coach Abel was talking about, very positive approach. The NCAA is going to have them at 20 hours a week. They can still do some workouts, can focus on academics in the classroom. A 3.75 GPA for the Oregon women's soccer team in the spring, so congratulations to the Ducks getting it done in the classroom as well. And I thought that what Coach Abel was talking about with roster management, how that's going to work moving forward. Every coach in America is going to be dealing with that around the country right now. But my thanks to Graeme Abel for joining us. Elsewhere on your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill, we talked a little bit about the Blazers in the NBA playoffs and revisiting Ruthie Hebard. Got her first career start on Sunday, which is pretty cool. CJ Verdell's birthday, and also Caroline Inglis with her eagle on the LPGA, and she's going to be playing this weekend as well. More Pro-Duck action over the course of the week in the WNBA in particular, and of course in the MLB as well, with a few different Ducks making some starts over the course of the next few days. Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. Restaurants throughout Oregon and Washington. Cafe Yum, serving Northwest-inspired catering and takeout for your next gathering or meeting. Menus, cafeyum.com. So I went to the dentist today. Clean bill of health. It was great. And it was the first time that I've gone to an appointment like that since this all started, and they did everything right. It had me come in 20 minutes earlier than originally scheduled, so 7:40 in the morning. I'm not a morning person. Ask my wife. Took temperature, 97.7 I was this morning, by the way. I'm running a little cold. 98.6 is normal, right?
That used to be normal. I think they've changed that, though.
How do you change what the normal temperature is?
It is. Because I had somebody say, yeah, I'm 98.6, and I heard somebody else, when I went to the dentist office, say, yeah, that's actually not what we're supposed to be anymore. It's like, it's a degree or something lower or higher. I forget.
Okay. 97.7 this morning. Told I was healthy. Filled out my form. And for those of you who haven't been to one of these appointments yet, it was a little surreal. Like, walk in, and I hadn't been in the office since they had put up all of the, plexiglass barriers, if you will, and it was different. It was different, and it was totally fine. They did a great job, I got to say.
No cavities?
Did a great job. No, none. Haven't had a cavity since I was like 10.
Good job.
Yeah.
Floss then.
I do floss.
Good job.
Every day.
Way to go.
Yep.
Proud of you.
Thank you. Do you floss every day?
I do.
Okay, good.
Because I'm married.
Oh, that's why. Got it. Thank you, Amy. That's good. But I bring this up because we've talked about sort of like how do you return to a semblance of normalcy. And this, again, today was sort of a day of clarity for me. And this weekend was. Because I thought, this is okay. Takes you a little longer to get through your day with taking the right precautions, and face shield for my hygienist and for my dentist, and everybody just did everything right. And I felt totally safe. Felt totally good walking out of there. Got my new toothbrush. I felt great. It was a good day at the dentist. And I'm one of those weird people that actually likes the dentist. I know a lot of people don't. So, Scott, we've only got about 30 seconds here. But, Scott, similar experience.
Oh, yeah. Very, very similar.
Good.
My hygienist always wore the face mask thing. It's Kenny's wife.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, we always talk sports and
of course
how the kids are and all that. But she always has one up anyway. So, it was pretty normal.
That's good. Well, I'm glad to hear that, and I hope that everybody else can have their return to normalcy in such a way. All right, we're going to get a timeout. When we come back, a celebratory segment. You're going to want to stick around for this. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. More coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter, Brooklyn, was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. Today's show brought to you by North Fork Public House, open for dine-in and takeout, northforkeugene.com. So, hey, last week we celebrated the birthday of our buddy, Matt Stern. Today, we get to celebrate Nikki Papoulis' birthday. Woo! Another one of our coworkers, Nikki Papoulis. We call her Happy Pappy. She did dress up as me for Halloween with Matt Stern once. Also sits courtside to make sure that I don't miss anything on a broadcast, which is actually a full-time job in and of itself. Again, we call her Happy Pappy for good reason. Funny story about Nikki. One time, she had the most absurd guess for how many candy corns were in a jar during an athletic department competition. So our wonderful Paula, who sits at the front desk, many of you have spoken to her. She's outstanding. She actually gave Nikki a box of Whoppers for a whopper of a guess. That pretty much sums up Nikki in one story. Also, always afraid to have a good time. Call her Happy Pappy for good reason. Big putt-putt girl. Big putt-putt mini golf girl, Happy Pappy. Nikki Papoulis also running the intern program, of course, with Jake and Jake. Talked about that a little bit last week. Nikki's great. She keeps us on track. Happy birthday, Nikki. Hope that it's a great one. Again, we can still spread positivity, right? We can all still do it. Graeme Abel did it today. It's Nikki's birthday. What a day. He's Scott Phillips. John Essick back in the radio studio. I'm Joey Mack. See you tomorrow, everybody.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info